right, so it's no secret that all of us love traveling, and with the weekend just around the corner, we know, viewers, that you are looking for an escape too, and that's why today we have on board Anandita Chatterjee, travel chatter, content creator and travel blogger, to sort out your travel plans. So sit back and perhaps grab a bit of popcorn and of course take notes to make your next vacation the best one. Anandita, welcome on the show, and so you are the travel guru for us today, not only the viewers but for me and my team as well. And we are actually waiting for monsoon to come in its full form, but then why not just have a plan ready, because weekends are every weekend. So how can one actually plan a monsoon quick vacation? So one pro tip, we all know that you need to plan these sort of trips and vacations well in advance if you really want to make it cost effective. Okay, but given the fact that we all are working professionals and we don't have that much of time to browse and figure out those places, so wherein your expertise will come. I want you to suggest locations within India and abroad, and let's start with India.
Sure. Hi, Kavita. Firstly, thank you so much for having me here. It's an absolute honor. And for everyone watching, hi, I'm Anandita Chatterjee. I have traveled to 81 countries. And when it comes to monsoon getaways, and of course, I'm going to talk about an international destination as well as a destination in India. I recently went to France, and it's definitely one of my favorites in Europe. Now, Europe is a great destination to visit during the monsoons because it has the perfect weather at this time and plenty of things to do. So I went to France, and this trip was absolutely organized by Atu France, which is the France Tourism Development Agency and their regional partners in France. Now, when you go to France, of course, you land in Paris, and the budget we are looking at here would be around 300 to 400 euros per day. Few places that you can stay in Paris are, one of the hotels that I really loved was Le Maturin Paris. You could also go to, of course, Eiffel Tower, do a dinner cruise on Bateau Parisien, go to La Vallée Village, which is great for shopping, go to Eiffel Tower, etc. And a lot of us feel that, when you go to France, if you've done Paris, you've seen France. But trust me, you haven't seen France till you've gone to the south of France as well, because it's absolutely stunning. So I would say take a flight to Nice, go to Cannes. Cannes is absolutely beautiful. Of course, it's famous for the film festival, but there's so much more to do there. Stay at JW Marriott, which is one of the best hotels there. Have lunch at Palais Stephanie Beach. Go for a perfume making workshop at Fragonard. Go for dinner to Bobo Bistro. Go for a city tour by a little train, which takes you all around Cannes. You get to see the beautiful old town. Go to the local markets. Now, these are few offbeat things to do. Go to the local market. One market called the Marché Four Wheel, which is really, really nice. And you would love visiting that place. Also, when you're staying in JW Marriott, the customer service is absolutely impeccable. So you're going to really, really love your trip there. Once you're in the south of France, you can rent a car and drive down the entire French Riviera. And Monaco is again another destination that I highly recommend. It was my 80th country, and hence it is very special. A hotel to stay there is Hotel Metropole. Now, after having traveled to 81 countries, Hotel Metropole was one of the best baby-friendly hotels I have ever seen. And of course, in Monaco, everything is very royal. So you want to indulge and you want to stay in a luxurious hotel, then definitely Hotel Metropole is going to be your best pick. One of the best food I have ever had at their lobby bar. Other than that, of course, Monaco is a small place, so you can easily cover Monaco in around 2 to 3 days. Go to Monte Carlo, walk around the casino gardens, the Japanese gardens, go to the Museum of Oceanography, which is very good for kids, and also go to the Old Town. Old Town of Monaco is again absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that's pretty much how you could plan probably a week in France, which is really, really nice. Now, coming back to places in India, I would say in terms of monsoon.
I want to ask you about France. If I want to ask you about what's the approximate budget? A week's plan you mentioned.
Yes.
So that makes 6 nights and 7 days.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So travel and stay. Approximate cost for a single, a couple, and maybe a family of 4.
Okay. So I would say it's around 400 to 500 euros per night. So which also includes the experiences, the stay, as well as the food. So 400 to 500 euros is what you could look at per day in France. which also includes all the tips that I mentioned in terms of what experiences you can have, which hotels you can stay at. Of course, you might want to splurge and stay in more expensive hotels, or you could stay at Airbnbs if you're on a budget, or stay in hostels. I mean, that totally, of course, depends on y'all. But the kind of itinerary that I just gave you would be around 400 to 500 euros per day.
Budget will go down if we opt for Airbnb or if we just switch to hotels. I mean, obviously, that kind of travel and stay is preferred for people who are not going with the family. For a family, you might just want a comfortable environment and a place to stay. But then, how much the budget will come down if we go for these places?
So yeah, if you're looking at a hostel or an Airbnb, I would say, and of course, you're not looking at staying at JW Marriott or the other hotels that I mentioned, then it could probably go down to around 200, 300 euros a night,
Be the
which includes your
sure.
stay and your experience as well.
So, what kind of best deals should one look at through an online portal, or you want people, or you suggest people to do it organically? Look for a hotel, call them up, ask them what's the deal. How should one go about it?
So definitely you can book all of this online. So everything that I mentioned right now, each of them have their online presence. You can go to their website and definitely book directly. Or you can reach out to the regional partners in France. You can reach out to the France Tourism Development Agency. They could help you book the tour as well. And other than that, of course, in terms of booking tickets, which is always the biggest expenditure, right? Now, the key there is definitely booking well in advance. So, for example, a Bombay-Paris return ticket could cost anywhere between 55 to 60,000 based on how early you are booking the ticket. But yes, there are portals like Make My Trip, Orbitz, Kayak, a lot of portals where you get very good deals.
All right, so that's the recommendation abroad for a monsoon vacation. What about India?
In India, of course, there are lots of places to go to, but again, one of my favorites is Kerala. I think it's beautiful in the monsoons, and when people go to Kerala, they usually do Cochin and Alapi. But my favorite thing to do in Kerala was going to Trivandrum, driving to Kovalam, and then going to Varkala and Munnar. So the reason I suggest this is because you get direct flights from Bombay or any place in India is basically, or you fly to Cochin, whichever, you get a direct flight. But for me, it was Trivandrum. And from Trivandrum to Kovalam is around a half an hour drive, which is easily doable even if you have a baby with you. Like I went with my 2-month-old baby and it was absolutely great. You can stay in various hotels. Kovalam has lots of hotels, different budgets. You can stay in the Taj property in Kovalam as well if you're looking at spending a bit. And from there, you drive to Varkala, another hour's drive, around 1 hour to 1.5 hours drive. Now, Varkala has this place called the Varkala Cliff, which has great hotels, great restaurants, and you find hotels within all budgets, right? From 5,000 to 20,000, you will find all kinds of hotels to fit your budget in and around the Varkala Cliff. It's good to have a car with you all throughout your trip because then you're flexible and you don't need to really book wait for taxis and autos, etc. And from Varkala, again, a lot of beaches. You obviously then probably want to explore hill station and tea plantation. So I think Munnar is beautiful. So from Varkala to Munnar is around a 7 hours drive and 6.5 to 7 hours drive. And then of course, once you're in Munnar, I would recommend staying in an Airbnb Munnar because Munnar city center is pretty crowded. But if you stay in an Airbnb which is a little away, and because you have a car, again, it's not difficult to commute. So there are Airbnbs. I mean, whatever size you want. If you're alone, you could have a family of 4, you could have a family of 6. And the good thing about the Airbnbs are they come with a kitchen. So you can also cook your own homemade food in case you're a little sick of eating outside food. So yeah, that would be a few of my recommendations in India.
How many days would you recommend then for all these places? Again, a week's trip?
Yes, 6 to 7 days is good enough for what I just suggested. Yes.
And what's the budget like for it then?
So here we are looking at maybe around 20 to 25,000 a night, because I'm also factoring in the cost of the car, because if you are renting a car with a driver, you're going to have that car with you all throughout. So around 20 to 25,000 a day easily. Yeah.
No problem traveling during rains. What if in case of heavy showers?
No, so there everyone's experienced, right? Because I think even in the monsoons, because Kerala is lush green during the monsoon. So obviously, I won't say it's not the peak tourist season, but definitely they are used to having a lot of tourists. So do have drivers who are very well trained to drive even in the rains. And people who live anywhere in India, they are usually used to the rain. So you will go with your raincoat and umbrella, etc. And at times just get wet in the rain and have fun. But it's beautiful.
Places,
it's like when you're living in the clouds. It's as beautiful as that when you're in your car.
Any specific places you should go when it's raining? Like you cannot miss those places.
So I would say definitely Varkala because, when it's raining, so during the monsoons, the sky is dramatic and just the cloud formation, the sunset. I mean, you see the most beautiful sunsets in India, I would say in Varkala. So when you're on that Varkala cliff and you're watching those sunsets, they are absolutely stunning. Of course, if it's raining and it's cloudy, you don't get to see the sunset. But otherwise, if you're lucky, you get to see some stunning, stunning sunsets.
All right, that will be all. Thank you so much for being on the show today and helping our viewers plan their monsoon vacations.
Thank you so much, Kavita. Thank you so much for having me.
We move on and we've on Leaders of Tomorrow with its eye on Dubai special this time. In the first segment, we delve into intricacies of the insurtech industry as Vaibhav Kashyap, co-founder and CEO of Welex, shares his insights on the same. In the second segment, Naveen Bhardwaj, CEO Trescon, unravels the art of conducting global events and highlights his way of spreading technological awareness through them. Listen in.
Talking about insurtech, I mean, it's a term that we sort of come across very often these days, especially here in Dubai. And as I understand, it's basically implementing tech and its huge impact in the overall industry. Now, how do you see that disrupting the market here in Dubai?
So I think insurtech started off very in a very basic manner where you're digitizing the onboarding journey or how somebody buys insurance. But you've seen it evolve over time to well beyond that. Now insurtech can mean improving the pricing process. It can mean improving the claims process. It can mean improving customer experience, making it via an app, using AI to have much better conversations with your customer and align the journey.
How important is sustainability for your operations, considering you host events pretty much around the year and around the globe?
Two parts to this. Number one, from bringing the community together, we are hosting sustainability conferences and summits as well. We have a couple of them in the pipeline. I can't divulge too many details yet, but we are hosting sustainability events where we bring the core ecosystem together to talk about net neutrality, reduction of carbon footprint, to collectively as a society come together and make sure that we are creating a better future for the generations to come as opposed to abusing the nature around us.
For this exclusive conversation, tune into Leaders of Tomorrow tonight at 10:30 p.m. on ET Now. On that note, let's take a quick break and then post that, let's talk more about sweep fixed deposit. Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal, and let's talk about sweep fixed deposit. A lot of banks which are offering this service and facility to its account holders, but recently Kotak Mahindra Bank announced the launch of its ActivMoney feature, which gives customer the benefit of FD-like interest rates with no charges on premature withdrawal. Now, through ActivMoney, excess fund in the account beyond a defined threshold are automatically transferred to a fixed deposit, thereby offering you the chance to earn a higher interest on your savings. Let's discuss all of this with Virat Divanji, Group President and Head Consumer Banking, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and A.R. Himant, Head of Communications, Bank Bazaar. Good evening and welcome both of you. Virat, I'll come to you and let's talk about the Kotak ActivMoney service that's launched. It's a sweep fixed deposit facility which a lot of other banks are offering, but then what's on board for you?
Look, the basic idea behind doing this product is we are aiming for changing the paradigm of savings in this country. Today, as the interest rate rises and the gap between the savings interest rate and the interest rate or the earning rate on some other investment opportunities, like say a liquid fund, is so wide, whereby customers tend to move their surplus funds out of the banking system. Through this product, we want to give them the opportunity to earn higher interest, as well as at the same time give them a flexibility to withdraw the money as and when required. Hence, he gets best of both the worlds through this product. And that's the basic idea behind going on with this product.
Looking at the interest rate, and just for our viewers' understanding, Virat, can we compare this with a liquid fund, just in case someone wants to create a contingency or an emergency fund using this kind of a feature?
Look, means how you are looking at it in the sense, if it's an interest earning option that you are talking about, yes, today liquid fund can get you anywhere between 6.5 to 6.7, whereas here you have an option to earn up to 7%. Okay, in terms of, in fact, when you want to move your money into liquid, or you have to do that action or process the transaction. Whereas in case of this, once you have set the limit, the money automatically gets swept into this account. On the other side, even when you want to withdraw, it takes 24 hours for your money from the liquid fund to come into your bank account. Whereas here, it is absolutely seamless. You issue a check, you want to go and withdraw from the ATM, your money you can withdraw at any time without any time lag. So these are the two clear features which help customers to move their surplus, or rather retain their surplus money with the bank rather than moving it out.
Okay. One more question to you, Virat, and then we go to Hemant. 7% interest is available till 180 days. And what if someone wants to withdraw before that?
Look, yes, as you rightly understood, the 7% is for people who maintain the balances in this ActivMoney for 180 days. In case if you withdraw money before that, then the interest rate applicable to that particular bucket, that is the number of days for which the money had remained in the deposit account, active deposit account, the customer will earn that much.
All right, Hemant, now let's analyze this particular service offered by different other banks also. Kotak Mahindra Bank is not just the first one, but then, yeah, 7% interest, it looks very attractive given the fact that the interest rates have gone up and there is a pause right now. But then a sweep fixed deposit, a very smart way to manage your money, but then it's something account holders should really opt for, or there are better strategies as well. What would you suggest?
So good evening, Kavita. So Virat makes a really good point when he mentions the importance of savings and deposits. Indians are over-reliant on the humble savings account and the humble fixed deposit, and they don't participate enough in the securities market. So how they manage their savings and deposits becomes important, and that is where products like these can help. Your money gets automatically parked into deposits. You don't have to do anything, and you get a higher rate of return. I think that is very important. There is so much convenience built into these products because the deposits get created automatically and they get liquidated automatically, and you're getting that higher rate of return. This is fantastic for people who don't want to be actively managing their deposits. So it's great for them. But for somebody who's actively managing their deposits, who's aware of what's happening in the market, where the best rates are, for them maybe there could be a slight advantage in creating the regular fixed deposits, where the interest rates could be slightly higher. Kavita.
See, the biggest catch in this particular service is, Hemant, the period where you have to be locked in till, to get benefit of the higher interest rate. Otherwise, if you want money before that, just the fact that you have liquidity, you might not earn anything if you are withdrawing the money before the specific tenure.
Yeah, and in that it is not different from the regular fixed deposits where, if you redeem within, 3 or 4 months, you get the rate of return that's applicable to a savings account in most cases. So in that sense, it's not different. you really need to understand why you're creating that deposit. How long do you remain? How long do you wish to remain logged in? Because there are tenors being offered on regular FDs where the rates are slightly higher. So typically, let me give you an example. The rates on 5-year FDs tend to be higher sometimes than short-term FDs. So therefore, if you want to remain logged in for longer periods of time, you can get better returns. But if you're not clear what you want to do, if you're starting out, you're not clear on the rates of return, you don't know how to create an FD. So that is where the product gives you a lot of convenience. The SEEP and FD gives you a lot of convenience, and you can make use of that.
So it's very clear. If you want to just park your money and earn the benefit of higher interest rate, there are better options. But if you are someone who also wants liquidity at the same time, manage your savings account really well, you might as well use this sweep fixed deposit strategy. Can we create a contingency or an emergency fund with a sweep fixed deposit? Or Hemant, would you suggest one to have a separate liquid fund for that, where whenever you need money, at least 24 hours it will take to come into your account?
So Kavita, this is an interesting question, and it all boils down to how disciplined you are as a saver or a depositor. If you are somebody who likes to max out your spendings, then perhaps this might not be a great option, because you should not ideally touch your contingent savings in any situation. That money is meant only for emergencies, and if it is available to you every day, then there's a good chance that you might spend it. In that sense, I think a regular FD might help. But again, if you're just starting out, trying to set some savings, earn higher returns, this is all good. But best practices are always best practices. A contingency fund that is not easily within your grasp, I think that's best for you.
I think that will be all. Thank you so much, Hemant and Virat, for being on the show and helping our viewers understand the benefit of sweep fixed deposit and how smartly you can manage your money and be a smart depositor. We'll slip into a quick break, and post that, let's get your mutual fund portfolio queries answered by our financial planner today. And also what you can do is send us your queries on our WhatsApp number and email ID. We'll be joined by Shweta Jain, who will be answering all your portfolio related queries after this break. Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal, and there are plethora of funds available in the market to invest your hard-earned money. But how do you assess which is the right fund for your portfolio? What are the criteria that one should look at? To help you navigate through this maze, we have on board Shweta Jain, Investography. Also, do not forget to send us your portfolio queries on our WhatsApp number, which is 865-797-4571. You can also email us your queries on themoneyshow@etnow.tv. Hi, good evening, Shweta, and welcome to the show. We have our first viewer query via email. So Mr. Biren Singh from Agra has sent the question. He wants to understand if a lump sum investment is beneficial when markets are trending downwards for when NAV of a fund is low. And he says that he has SBI Magnum Mid Cap, SBI Balance Advantage Fund, SBI Multi-Cap, ICICI Blue. He's got a blue chip fund from ICICI, HDFC Top 100, ICICI Pru Value Discovery. That's his portfolio. So I think the first question is very interesting, because a lot of viewers might want to understand the right timing. And when you are investing in a mutual fund, where we always say that you need to have a time horizon of at least more than 5 years, timing the market and looking at the NAV going down or up, how should one figure this out?
Hi, Kavita. Thank you for having me on the show. So Birenji's question is absolutely very interesting, and something that each investor at some time or the other thinks about. It's easier said than done, though, and which is why we don't recommend timing the market, because when markets are actually going down, people actually, instead of investing, get antsy and start withdrawing from the market. As funny as it sounds now, it is actually the reality, because when markets are going down, we feel that they'll go further down, and we when we see our portfolios in the red, something triggers and we start exiting instead of investing, which should be the logical thing to do. So it's a fight between the emotional brain and the logical brain. And as sad as that is, the emotional brain wins at these times, because we need to protect what we have So we get into the protect mode. So that is why we don't really recommend timing. Yes, those who can and who are doing it systematically, and there are ways to do that, can invest and should invest in lump sum. But like I said, it's easier said than done. Coming to Birenji's portfolio, so he has a plethora of schemes, a lot of SBI schemes in his portfolio, which some of them do have overlap in the stocks. So I would actually recommend that he relooks at the portfolio from the view when he needs that money, because balanced advantage, he may use it for the next couple of years, and the next 2 to 3 years, if he needs money, he can use that money there. The other schemes are looking good. There's a good mix of mid multi-cap funds. I really need to understand if there's too much exposure to SBI. So if his portfolio is more than 40% in SBI schemes alone, I think he should relook at that. Otherwise, ICICI Blue Chip, Pro Discovery, they're really they're doing well. They're okay schemes. HDFC Top 200 has a really high AUM, so I think that is something that he can relook. So 2 schemes, if he can relook at his portfolio, these are the 2 schemes I would recommend.
One thing, a lot of time investors feel that the NAV of a scheme, even if they've invested for a couple of years, they stay put in the fund. Once the NAV goes up, they think it's a problem to stay in the fund and they want to opt for an exit. Should one be tracking the NAV?
So one can track the NAV, but not in a manner like how it's similar to a stock price, for example. The idea that if something has a low NAV, for example, if one wants to exit a fund which has an NAV of say 100 rupees, and get into an NFO which has 10 rupees, I would definitely not recommend it. Because the fund which has 100 has a proven track record, unless it's for other reasons. If the strategies are similar, I don't recommend that they move to the NFO or something with a lower NAV. The fact that something has done well doesn't mean that it will not do well in the future. So like I said, it's not similar to a stock's price that it's become overvalued to speak. But when an NAV is going up, it means that the fund has done tremendously over time, right? So that is all that it indicates. And even if you're getting lesser units for the same amount that you'll invest in a scheme which is well performing versus a new scheme which may or may not perform, I would recommend that you stick to the scheme that you've invested in.
We move on and we have Mr. Guru from Chennai on the phone line. Hi, Mr. Guru. Good evening. How are you doing today?
Yeah, fine. How about you?
I'm doing good, thank you. So I have the list of funds that you've been investing in since 2017. It's ABSL Pure Fund, HSBC Small Cap Fund and Nippon India Retirement Fund. Any specific time frame that you want to stay invested in these funds for, and any approximate corpus that you want to accumulate? Also, what is the amount of your investment?
It's like for Nippon, it's 2,000 SIP monthly.
Okay.
And others, it's 1,000 SIP.
6,000 each or total?
It's around 5,000 total.
5,000 total in ABSL and HSBC,
yes,
and
yes.
Nippon India is 2,000 separately. Okay, so 7,000 in all SIP going every month. Okay,
yes.
And since 2017 you are in this fund, in these funds. Till how long you want to be there invested?
A long time. I want to be in long time.
So at least 10 years?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Any approximate corpus that you are looking at?
No, I want to know, it's like whether I'm holding a correct fund now. Like the market is fluctuating, so I have a doubt my NAV might go down.
What's the performance of your fund so far? Since 2017, you are doing an SIP, that too, so you are technically averaging out all the volatility that you must have seen. So how are the funds performing, and what's the invested amount and what's the market value amount of your investment so far?
So I did not see that actually. Sorry.
All right, so very important for you to track that. But anyways, we have our expert who can help you with that. Okay, so the earlier question, I think it's in continuation over here, Shweta, that the market is down and my NAV of the funds is actually down. But he's been there since 2017 and He wants to be there for more 10 years. He can write out the volatility if he's there for a longer time horizon and if he's investing in a disciplined manner, right? The question should be, are these funds good enough?
So these schemes are the only schemes that he's been investing in, and predominantly small cap, a little bit of mid cap, a little large cap in the retirement portfolio, but predominantly small cap is where he's skewed. He will see times of high volatility, and while his time horizon is 10 years, I would definitely recommend adding large cap because it will give his portfolio the stability. Because I like to see the portfolio as a whole, to make sure that investor continues to invest and sees the gains over time, right? So I would definitely recommend one thing that he stops his SIPs. I'm not asking to him to exit portfolios right now, although if he would like to exit, I think Birla Pure Value is something that he could exit. But otherwise, if he doesn't want to exit, it's fine. He can just stop the SIPs and instead start an SIP in UTI, Nifty 50, and add Kotak Emerging Equity to his portfolio. I think these are two schemes that will do quite well, and two SIPs are good enough. These will bring the much needed large cap and stability to his portfolio. So it'll become a great mix even if he keeps these fund as is. Over time, over the next 2 to 3 years, he'll see a considerable large cap influx in his portfolio, and I think that'll be really good for the stability of the portfolio.
Mr. Guru, is there anything else you want to ask Shweta? I don't think he's there on the phone line with us. But then we have Sanjeev Bhatia with us. Sanjeev, hi, good evening. How are you doing today?
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am, you would have received my query. Actually, I superannuated from ONGC in January 2023. And I had my provident fund, which I have not yet withdrawn from the company because it gives me almost 8% plus interest rate on that. And I have an annuity of approximately 50,000 rupees, which I am getting monthly from HDFC. And I had some surplus money, which I have kept in like a fixed deposit.
Okay, sir. And how much is that?
That must be around 1 CR or so.
Okay.
So out of that, I just want to put some money in some growth, funds, which say approximately 30 to 40,000 rupees, which actually gives me some growth, which is more than the FD.
Got it. So
and it is secure as well.
Okay. So the time frame you're looking at is 5 years.
Yeah, I'm looking at 5 years. Yeah.
Okay. So the need of regular income is taken care of.
Yeah, it is taken care of. There is no issue as such, but still I don't want that all the money should be parked in FDs only, which is quite a substantial money. So I just want to put something in mutual funds as well so that I can, it is taken care of. The growth part is taken care of.
Interesting. So I'll let Shweta plan that. But then before that, I want to know, so what's the plan ahead now in life? What are you planning to do? Are you planning to travel, spend time with family?
Yeah. That's, I play tennis. And, Yeah. So I'm still trying to continue with that.
That's good.
And
perfect. So then
And I also dabble into stock markets and on my own, and that's also a substantial corpus which I am actually, doing not the trading but the investment part on my own.
Sure. Do it, and don't do it alone. Do it with ET now. All right, Shweta, over to you.
That's why I approached you, because I wanted some guidance. And last time also you had taken my query in respect of my daughter. So I was just having this faith,
Yeah.
that you will take my query as well.
Oh, you are a lucky viewer. I should say that. Thank you.
My daughter is actually doing her PG. She's doing MD.
Okay.
In
Mumbai. That's lovely.
I sent the query to you for actually what should she invest in.
Yeah.
Her monthly, whatever stipend she is getting. So you had taken that query. I thank you for that.
Sure. Thank you so much for trusting us on that. And let's look into your financial portfolio now. Shweta.
So Sanjeev, I've done a lot of retirement workshops for NGC, many. for ONGC as a part of their program. So I'm very happy to help you here on ET now as well. So the 30,000 that you want to invest in equity for at least 5 years, I would recommend that you start off with UTI and Nifty 50 and PPFAS FlexiCap. These are two good funds, predominantly large cap stocks. So you would get less volatility in your portfolio, a little bit of international exposure as well, a little bit of small and mid cap with FlexiCap from Parag Parikh. So I think it's a great portfolio, and two schemes of 15K each SIP for the next 5 years, I think should be good. You can extend the time horizon. I know you don't have liquidity requirements. So you can continue this, maybe relook at this after a year and so, and see how you are reacting to your portfolio, because you are doing investing on your own. So maybe you see how this is complementing to that as well. So I think it'll be quite an interesting experience for you.
Anything else, Mr. Sanjeev, you want to ask Shweta?
So is that amount okay? Because I can park more funds also. So is it okay to invest that much money, or should I park some more funds?
So I think you should start with this money, because that's the initial thought that you had. So if you want to start with this, it's absolutely fine. Maybe 3 to 6 months later, review this and see how you are comfortable and how you can add more. The only thing I want to add here is a lot of money and a lot of time suddenly on your hands can be quite dangerous to each other. So I want to make sure that you are staying busy and also not trading and investing in stocks. So do make sure that you're not hurting your portfolio otherwise as well.
All right. Thank you so much for sending us your query, Mr. Bhatia, and all the best. We move on, and we have a next question via email. Madhu from Bangalore has sent the question, and Madhu says that the funds in the portfolio are Mira Asset Emerging Blue Chip, Mira Asset Large Cap, Nippon Small Cap, HDFC Mid Cap, ICICI Value Discovery, and she wants to know if she can continue in these funds. I think I have Madhu on the phone line also with me. Madhu, hi, good evening. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. A small correction. This is Madhu of Dai.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that. We just got confused with the name.
Sure, sorry.
Okay, so for how long you want to stay invested in these funds?
Yeah, so I am looking to be invested at least for the next 5 to 7 years.
5 to 7 years. Any particular goal that you have aligned with this portfolio?
I probably want to retire at 55. I'm 49, 18 now.
Sure. Okay.
And I would like to travel.
Okay. And you've been investing since how many years?
Probably about 8-9 years.
In these funds, or you've gradually increased?
In these funds, perhaps last 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
General investment about 8 to 9 years, started from 8 to 9 years. I've been just dabbling in direct equity investments also last one and a half years.
Sure. What's the corpus goal from this particular investment, from this portfolio?
I am looking at probably 150 lakhs.
Sure. All right. And the time frame for that is 5 to 7 years. All right.
So I just wonder if this is good, or should I alter, put in more or less? Or
yeah, we will help you with that. Shweta, over to you.
Okay, so for him to meet his 150 lakhs, so basically 1.5 crores goal in the next 7 years, he would need to invest about 95,000 a month. I think he's doing about that much, 25, and yeah, he's doing about 95,000. So I think he's right on track to meet this goal at least. But I'm sure there is previously invested money that is there. So he has to figure out how much he really needs for his retirement by figuring out what his monthly requirement is and what other goals that he has during his retirement. So that itself is a whole different exercise. So I would really recommend that he does that exercise. For this portfolio, I think it's a good portfolio that he has. If these are the only schemes that he has, I think it's a good portfolio. The only thing is HDFC Midcap is a scheme which has an AUM of upwards of 40,000 crores, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's something that he should look at. The other schemes, Mire Emerging Blue Chip and Mire Large Cap has an overlap of a lot of stock. So that is something that he can sort of see. Nippon Small Cap is a good scheme he can continue. ICICI Value Discovery, since it's a value discovery fund, it will see bouts of underperformance. So he has to be ready for that. Although it is among the well-performing schemes today, but there will be bouts of a huge underperformance when compared to the market, if especially it's a momentum-driven market. So I think that is something that he should be ready for. But otherwise, it's a good portfolio that he's done. The only thing missing is passive fund, I think, and that's something that I like at the core. But in this, it's not really missing because he has a lot of large cap stocks and funds. So I think that's sort of taken care of. The only thing they're missing is that a low cost fund will not be there. So I think if he's made his peace with that, that's okay. He can make sure that he's on track of his goals or even close to an earlier retirement than planned if he is continuously increasing his investments and the portfolio continues to do well.
All right, Madhu, that's the solution for your portfolio and recommendation. Is there anything else you want to ask Shweta?
Nothing at all. Thank you so much for the help.
All right, thank you so much for sending us your query. And quickly, we'll take the last question from Mr. Ram, and he intends to start SIP of around 50,000 per month. Time horizon is 5 to 6 years, and he wants you to suggest some funds with moderate returns and moderate risk.
Okay, so 5 to 6 years, I would recommend UTI Nifty 50. Like I said, I like passive funds at the core of the portfolio. So that can be half of the recommended amount, so 25,000 it could be. And if he doesn't have an emergency fund, he could probably look at a debt fund like in Bandhan short-term debt fund. Or if he does have already taken care of that, then he could ignore the short-term fund. That's absolutely fine. He could look at an ICICI Balanced Advantage Fund to give him a little bit of debt exposure, and a Kotak Emerging Equity, which brings in a bit of mid cap, bit of small cap, and actively managed large cap to his portfolio. So I think if he's sticking to these three schemes, he has a pretty diversified, pretty stable portfolio, even if it's for 5-6 years. I think it'll be quite interesting for him to invest in these and stay invested for the next few years.
All right, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up. Thank you so much, Shweta, for being on the show and helping our viewers with their financial portfolio queries. And before I sign off, I'm going to leave you with our WhatsApp number and email ID, where we keep waiting for your portfolio-related queries, which we get answered by our expert panel live on the show. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.